Welcome to Behind the Paranormal with Paul and Ben Eno.
When your body dies, does your consciousness wake up in a parallel world as if nothing ever happened? Can your own lifestyle attract parasites? How legitimate are conspiracy theories, and can they have paranormal tie-ins?
Hey there, welcome to the 475th edition of Behind the Paranormal with Paul and Ben Eno. I'm Ben, and those very questions came from my co-host and partner in the paranormal, my dad. So we bring you an open-line show this evening with emailed questions on many paranormal subjects, as you can tell from our opening questions. And we do invite your calls and comments, and the numbers tonight, 401-766-1240 locally, and 800-449-1240 from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada.
All right, well, a couple of announcements before we begin. We are being bombarded with emails from irate listeners about the unavailability of the complete podcasts for the last 4 weeks. As we've said last week, our website, or rather the people that host our website, are having a cyber attack, and it's attacking a lot of different hosting companies. I have checked independently on this, and it's true. I don't know why it's not all over the news. And you can, this particular company has kept our site up there so you can see it and take advantage of 99% of the 500 podcasts that are there, but the latest ones have not been able to be completely uploaded. So just be aware that many people are working on this, and just try and hang in there with us, and this someday will be resolved, I hope. We are trying to find ways around this and this business, so it's kind of frustrating. Anyway, before we begin also, we will have a drawing in early October for 2 free, 2 to 4 ticket family packs to the first New England UFO conference.
Family packs? What is in the family pack?
Tickets.
Just tickets?
Well, you want the whole family in there? What do you mean?
Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. Because this family pack, I expected there's something different to be in there, like tours,
like
or
lunch or
stuff.
something too.
Well, yeah, you never know.
Well, whatever it is, we're going to be drawing for it on Saturday. I'm going to be drawing for it rather on Monday, the 7th of October, I guess. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And October 26th will be the actual event in Leominster, Massachusetts, not all that far from here. And among the speakers will be some of the UFO experts who are regulars on our show: Stanton Friedman, Kathleen Marden, Peter Robbins, among others. And Ben and I will be there ourselves to interview them in front of a live audience, and they'll take questions from the audience too, so you get to meet everybody, including even us if you want. All you have to do to enter is to send an email to us at paul@behindtheparanormal.com, or drop us a snail mail at Behind the Paranormal, care of Woonsocket. I should say WOON, 1240 AM, 985 Park Avenue, Woonsocket, 02895, that's Rhode Island. Please include your name, address, and phone number. The drawing will take place, as I said, on the air on Monday, October 7th. It's going to be a great time, so go ahead and enter.
Sounds like it's going to be lots of fun.
I think so. So let's get right to it.
Let's get cracking here. Let's get some of those emails going here.
Okay, this is one about the multiverse and age from Tom in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Alrighty, so Tom writes to us. Hello, from what I understand, if someone died, they would appear in a different dimension as if nothing happened. But I was curious to know, what if the person was 100 years old and their body was too old to carry on? Do you think they are reborn into their infant self again, or do you think their energy shifts into a completely different form? Just curious to your opinion on this. See, now, I don't understand what it is with the West in thinking that I'm me forever. Like, if I die here, I'll be me somewhere else. I mean, that's not exactly the case, you see.
Well, I think there's that, and there's also the issue of...
not to insult Tom here. I mean, he's probably a great guy.
No.
It's just I don't know what it is with.
No, it's difficult to get your mind around this. And Tom is saying, from his understanding, I think he's talking about what he hears from us and our particular theories about this multiverse idea. Now, just a little bit of background. In our belief, and this is based on my experience for 43 years in the trenches of the paranormal work, and Ben now for 8 at least, so combined 50 years, we don't see it the way other people see it. We don't see the superstitious approach, shall I say. We don't see the spiritualist approach. We see quantum physics at its wildest.
Or just life in general.
In action, yeah, life in general. We don't believe in death because there's just life. There can't be any death because there is no time as we understand it. And that, I think, is my point, Ben, on this, that we can't seem to get away in the West, I mean European thinking and American thinking, from thinking of time as linear. In other words, it goes from past to future.
It's constantly reinforced in popular culture. I mean, look at the
it's reinforced in our consciousness.
That too, and Back to the Future, perfect example. Whereas Marty McFly or whatever, what's his name? Michael J. Fox's character.
Michael J. Fox's character.
Who's
just Marty McFly, yeah.
Yeah, he's
just
going back and forth like through time, like it's a train. You can just go back and forth on one singular thing, but it doesn't work like that.
Well, apparently not, and I suppose the cutting-edge minds in quantum physics do accept this idea of the multiverse, which means that things do not happen from past to future. They happen all at once. Everything, not only that has been and will be, happens all at once, but we're only conscious of it 1 second at a time, and together we form a biosphere sort of consciousness altogether.
Yeah.
We together essentially subconsciously decide what time is going to do and where things are going to go, which is quite interesting spiritually and from other ways. But the idea here is that all things take place at once. Not only all things that, as I say, have or could take place, but all things that could possibly take place. All things that can be conceived of, imagined, experienced in any way, shape, or form, past, present, or future, already exist in some concrete form in this multiverse, this community of interactive, rather elegant system of interactive open worlds. Okay?
Well, from what we've seen, there's just some sort of strange ordered chaos with it all.
Well, it's a rather elegantly ordered chaos, or it's disorderly in a very orderly way, or vice versa. But the point of this monologue being, to answer Tom's question, that I don't think it really happens that you die in one life and wake up in another. The key is this: you're already in the other life. And you say, well, how come I don't experience that life in my conscious life here? Well, some people do. Very often they're pegged as schizophrenics, and they used to be locked up. I met quite a few of them when I worked in psychiatric hospitals as a grad student and a seminary student.
Or the guest that I had on while you were away a few weeks ago.
We listened to that. I was on vacation, and that was last week.
No, was it last week?
Yeah,
well, I mean, the Sunday before the last one. Because yesterday was Sunday, today's Monday. So
right,
I don't want to...
week from this. Anyway, whatever it was very interesting. We listened to it. There was our CBS version of the show. We listened to it in the car on the way back from Maine. Ben's mom and a bunch of cousins. And it was quite interesting. So do you want to... Does that shed some light on what Tom is asking?
Well, I mean, he was saying that he
the guest being Ted Torbich.
Yes, Ted Torbich.
Right.
He said something to the effect of... I'm trying to remember the exact experience here. He wrote an email to us that I read before doing the actual show. He mentioned that I'm trying to remember how he put it.
Parallel life.
It was a parallel life experience with a younger him, but it wasn't him. So he was some teenage kid who was running late to class or whatever, and he was like, "Oh crap, I'm late for this class." It was like I've been late so many times that it's just he's like, I can't be late again. So he had this strange feeling of teenage terror from being late to class, and then he went snap right back to sorting mail, and bam.
Yeah, because he works for the post office. That's it. Well, we get emails like that all the time, and the thing is, these lives, if we're right, are parallel lives that you're living all at once. It's and the whole this calls into question the whole classic interpretation of reincarnation, because people think, oh yeah, again, linear. You die and you're recycled, okay, and everything in nature appears to recycle. But the thing with reincarnation is that more and more regression therapists who might make it a point to talk to are seeing that these are very probably parallel lives. And the reason they're seeing that is very often they will encounter subjects who describe under hypnosis lives that apparently are in the future or in some unrecognizable world. And to my way of thinking, this is just experience of parallel lives. Taking place there, and I think the reason we get confused is because we think it's linear, and it's not. It is not sequential. It's not linear. It is parallel. It is simultaneous
and subjective.
So So why don't you experience these? Well, you do. You experience them in your subconscious, I believe. And so when your body dies here, Tom, all things do recycle, sure, but how do they do that?
Well, it's not like you can feel every single cell of your body moving at every second.
Well, exactly.
I mean, you could, if you like touch something with like your finger, I mean, hey, you'll know that you're touching something because your nerves are saying, oh, hey, you're touching something.
You know what I compare it to very often is anybody who's into computer graphic work, which Photoshop or any of these different, even if you look at pictures on your computer just that you've taken of your family or whatever, if you have a picture format, say it's a JPEG.
Yeah.
All right, the little .jpeg thing after the file indicates what format that picture is in.
Right.
And there's a TIFF and BMP and a bunch of PMX, whatever it is.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. And usually, if you have your software set a certain way, you might have 20 pictures. Well, maybe there aren't that many formats. Say 10 pictures of yourself in exactly the same photograph. But one is a TIFF, one is a JPEG, one is something else. And when you go to open that file to look at it, your software may be set to only show you TIFFs or JPEGs or anything else. So on your screen, you'll only see the TIFF file, whereas in reality, you in JPEG format are there, you in some other format are there, exactly the same picture. So this is a very simplistic and probably totally inadequate metaphor for what we're saying here. But we believe that all things occur simultaneously, and that when one body dies, it's more of a minor inconvenience than anything else, because your consciousness simply goes to where it already is, and the particular consciousness that you are, I suppose, is departing the body there, is already in a body somewhere else. That's the thing. Maybe we continue it afterwards. We do have a caller, and who we got there, Ben? Hello. Yes, welcome to the show.
Hi, this is Bill from Franklin.
Oh, Bill, good to talk to you.
Hi. I never understood the part about dying, and that's the part of your parallel thing I didn't quite understand.
well, exactly. Most people don't understand it. The only reason I'll tell you why I started to think this way. And again, it's not just me or Ben. It's a lot of physicists have been onto this for a lot of years, really. I started investigating ghost cases 43 years ago, and I started seeing and experiencing things that just didn't add up when it came to the idea of dead people. All right, there would be ghosts, so-called, of people who were still alive. Ran into some of that. There would be people would see ghosts of themselves like in different lives doing other things. There were dreams that were really vivid.
My dreams are like parallel things.
Yeah, well, exactly. I think not all, maybe, but many of those reflect lives that are being lived. Do you keep a record of your dreams?
No, I don't. But like I dreamt that I was in Franklin when it was being built.
Sure. Okay.
When the buildings were being built in the downtown Franklin. Now what's that all about?
But see, it's not that you were there. You are there. That's the idea. You are. That is part of your subconscious life. Being Bill in Franklin in. When was Franklin? About 17 something, maybe.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay, and built different buildings at different times, and of course the problem with that is when you become aware that this is really what life is, you start to experience these things and they become normal. The problem is you have to keep your feet on the ground, and we have to live where and when we are. So there's a spiritual balance that's required. But the idea of the death thing, do you understand what I'm saying there? That you're already it's all part of you. Yeah. It's like a tree with leaves. One leaf falls off. The leaf isn't the whole tree. Suppose you're the tree,
I told that story on Joe Ferrier's show when one guy said I'm reliving a past life or something. Somebody said.
Yeah, well, again, I don't think it's a past. Ben, you jump in here anytime. I don't think it's a past life. It's a parallel life. And again, when they hypnotize people, if that's legitimate, take them to the so-called past lives, very often they'll run into lives that are in the future. So it can't be a past life, so it's got to be a parallel life, one would think. And so that's the idea. So just keep thinking about it, Bill. Ben, do you have any comments here?
Well, it's very hard to grasp if you don't.
Well, it isn't.
It is a very it is and it isn't. It's well, I don't know.
A lot of people say, when we lecture, a lot of people will say, aha, I never understood this until I thought of it that way. That explains
like
why
math.
I feel this way.
It's like teaching math.
Yeah, I suppose it is. So we could be all wrong, but this is the way I've experienced the paranormal. I don't see any other explanation for it, and it really opens up a lot of doors.
I'll go through something else, and it went right out of my mind.
Okay, well,
Parallel life experience.
Yep, you can always call back, Bill. But thanks for the call, Bill.
Okay.
Okay,
Bye.
good. Bye. Tom, I hope that gives you some idea on your question here. So let's move on to something else. This is it's about conspiracy theories. It's from Kristen in McKeesport, Pennsylvania.
Alrighty, so Kristen writes to us. Hi, Paul and Ben. One of the reasons your show is such fun is that I have fun trying to read between the lines of what you're saying.
Almost like what Bill was saying.
Yeah, I have heard you say many times that you are not conspiracy theorists, but that you are wondering about it. Many of your guests, like Murray Silver, Bill Burns, and Ted Phillips, talk about them. My question is, what do conspiracies have to do with the paranormal? I hope that is not a stupid question. Well, I don't think it's a stupid question.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, because I personally think that they don't.
So they don't what? That they to do with the paranormal?
Well, they do and they don't, but I feel like it's more of a don't that they don't have to do with the paranormal.
Sure. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, why? I don't know. It's most of the stuff is more about practical things. I mean, if you've watched anything from what's his name show?
Jesse Ventura.
Yes, Jesse Ventura. Yeah. Back when he had that show on, I don't even remember where it was. I don't remember. It was some.
I think it was called Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah, but I don't remember what channel it was on. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Whatever.
But the
we've
point
been trying
being,
to get him as a guest too.
Yeah, but the point being is most of the stuff had to do with things like practical things like life, and not practical things like life, like practical things that we have to deal with in daily life, like where's all the money going, the skyrocketing debt in the United States, people holding secrets about things that are like war secrets or whatever. So conspiracy theories having to do with that. I mean, I can understand how it has to do with the paranormal. Like you have, like the government knows things about aliens or whatever. I mean, that sort of stuff. But I don't know. I feel like it has more not to do with it than it does have to do with it.
Well, I see what you mean, but I think it goes a little deeper than that.
What? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Sorry. I think it might go a little deeper than that because what are the reasons, if these things exist, if there really are conspiracies? And once in my life, in the line of duty in the military, I did run into what I really believe was something I really can't talk about it, but it was a conspiracy group that really was doing something. And I think that there may be paranormal implications in that there could be connections to parasitical events or activities. Now, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the parasites, I'm not talking about tapeworms here. I'm talking about multiversal creatures that seem to live in these parallel worlds that seem to have access to various other worlds that are parallel to theirs. Sounds crazy, but this is what I've seen in particularly poltergeist cases, where we have lots of bad things happening. They seem to be feeding upon people's negative energy, and that seems to happen rather frequently. And I can see where a lot of strings might be pulled. These are very intelligent. They're not human. They're not spirits. They're not demons. That's what folklore calls them. Their theology is nothing like ours, as I don't really even know what it is, but I've encountered about 9 species of the things. And I can imagine that they might be pulling some strings in order to eat. And I can see possibly the birth of some conspiracy theories in that because they upset people. We have another caller here, so we will pause there. And it's Donna. Donna, welcome to the show.
Hello, Paul.
Oh, Donna, our friend.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance
Donna
to the last name.
Nice to talk with you
Good
again.
to talk with you always. What's going on?
Well, I had a question about parallel levels. Very deep.
Okay, parallel what, please?
Parallel levels.
Levels. Okay.
To me, the spiritual world is like if you were over a highway and there was an overpass above you, you'd miss it. It's not the same level.
Oh, I see what you mean. Levels. Well,
levels
the thing is,
of spirit.
if you can imagine yourself on the highway.
Say you're on 146 and you see the overpass above you, you'll miss each other.
Oh, Donna from Cumberland. I thought you were the wrong Donna. Okay.
No, Woonsocket.
Oh, Woonsocket. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you can imagine yourself on the
Just
overpass
imagine you're
and on the highway.
146 and you see an overpass, you'll miss it, right?
Not necessarily. And I'll tell you why. Because you're not only... See, if you take this to its logical conclusion or illogical conclusion, you're not only you, you're me. You're everybody. You're the person on the overpass. You're the person...
But you might miss that spirit.
I'm not sure I know what you mean. Now, if you're going so you're driving down the highway. We're using a driving metaphor here.
Yeah,
you're driving,
and say you go under an overpass, you'll never see that person unless you're looking there.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
to me,
I see what you mean.
The spiritual level is like if you miss that, that's the spirit world.
Okay, well, I don't necessarily believe in a spirit world. What's the spirit world? If you have the multiverse idea, you've got all kinds of worlds. There must be something like a spirit world because we can conceive of it. If it didn't exist, we wouldn't be able to conceive of it. But I think that it's
in your dreams, I guess.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
In your dreams, definitely.
You've actually been a guest on a panel on the show talking about that.
Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh no, it was very interesting, and it is a matter of interpretation. Again, we could be all wrong. We're a minority view, voices crying in the wilderness here. But I think that most of these worlds. See, the thing you have to understand is that
there's
physicists
only one world. That's what I'm not understanding. There's only one world.
What makes you say that? Well, the whole thing is a unified system. It's one system, but there are every conceivable world apparently exists, and that's our point when we deal with the paranormal. See, and you're existing in many of these, and this is pretty much accepted in theoretical physics. In one form or another right now, parallel worlds. So they may say
now you're talking physics.
Yeah. Well, physics, science, hopefully reflects reality. But there isn't just one world. I mean, unless you are, an old-time materialist who doesn't believe in God or anything like that. I know you're not. I'm just saying. Oh, of course you do.
I have many dreams that coincide with everything I'm talking about.
Very interesting. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. But I see your point. It is difficult to grasp. There are a lot. We miss a lot, and if we don't, very often people think we're crazy. So we're in something of a dilemma because our world has forgotten much of this. Most of our remote ancestors have not.
I find it very intriguing.
It sure is. So do we. Well, thanks for your call, Donna.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, we seem to have struck a nerve here with the idea of parallel worlds, and it seems like we have another caller. Do we there, Ben?
Yeah, Steve Hermani.
Oh, okay, very good. I guess we'll switch gears again. We have Steve Hermani, our good friend from New England MUFON, Mutual UFO Network. Steve, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good. Steve, you've been organizing the first New England UFO conference for October 26th. What's going on?
Oh, well, I've been really busy. We're going out with ticket sales right now. We got Stanton Friedman speaking, Kathleen Martin, Peter Robin, and we have MUFON's chief photo and video analyst, Mark D'Antonio, will be speaking, and we have a newcomer to ufology. His name is Robert Schroeder. He's written a book called Solving the UFO Enigma, How Modern Physics is Revealing the Technology of UFOs. Mm-hmm. And the guy's really got something there.
I've heard of him already,
He's deals mostly with the strings theory.
Oh, sure.
For universes.
Yeah, that kind of tries to unite classical physics with quantum physics.
Exactly, and he believes that this is what causes UFO to behave the way they do. And
Sounds great.
It's really intellectual. It's like the people will really enjoy him. He's a soft-spoken guy, but he's really good. He really gets right to the point.
Oh, excellent. We already made the announcement that we're going to be doing, we're raffling off family packs of tickets here.
Yeah, I want to clarify one thing on that. It's 2 4-ticket family packs.
Oh, 2 4-ticket family packs. Okay.
Yeah, 4 tickets each.
I misread your email.
That's about the average family size. So.
Okay, excellent. And again, it sounds like a formal event for scholars, and it's not necessarily by any means. Anybody's welcome to come. You'll have a great time listening to the speakers. We already talked about the speakers. We have had a lot. We had Kathleen Martin on our CBS edition last night. So, and Ben and I ourselves will be there, and we're planning to do live audience interviews with the speakers, and people can ask questions, and we're going to record that and put it on the air later. So, it should be a lot of fun. And what else is going on that day?
Well, we're going to be myself and Peter Robbins are planning to do a sit down with kids from the area at the youth library.
Excellent.
We sit down and discuss science and UFOs to get kids interested in science.
Oh, that's great.
And we're doing a premiere, a New England premiere of a documentary called The Hidden Hand. It deals with Stan Friedman's in it, and, but a lot of famous ufologists are in it. It's mostly about government cover-up.
Mm-hmm.
But it does cover abductions and other parts of ufology. So that'll be the first time in New England that it's been shown.
That sounds pretty exciting.
I've been actually granted permission from the producer of the movie.
Very
put
good.
It on. And we're doing we'll have at one of the tables, we'll have a producer, he produces videos of UFO conferences. So what he's going to do is he'll have a table set up there, and most of the major UFO conferences, they'll have DVD sets for sale.
Excellent, Steve. We're going to take a brief break here. Oh, can you stay on the line, and we'll continue after the break?
Sure.
Okay. We are having an open line show this evening. It's Behind the Paranormal with Paul and Ben Eno on WOON 1240 AM in New England's beautiful Blackstone River Valley. Stick with us.
Hi, I'm Greg Bell, the host of When Radio Was.
I'm Mortimer. Bill. Is that you under that blindfold? Bill, with this thing on, I can't see who I am. No, I imagine not. Can't you see anything at all under that blindfold? On a clear day, I can see the blindfold. You can? Yeah.
When Radio Was, shows from the past for today's imaginations.
When Radio Was airs Monday through Friday, right here on ON 1240 Radio at 11 a.m. and 11 p.m.
And we just wanted to mention two of the charities Ben and I have adopted. You can find out all of them at BehindTheParanormal.com or NewEnglandGhosts.com, our main site. One is USA Cares. They provide financial and advocacy assistance to post-9/11 active-duty U.S. military service personnel, veterans, and their families. If they're short of the mortgage that month, out goes a check from these great people. So we ask you to support them. USACares.org. Also, Canadian Veterans Advocacy for our cousins in Canada who have been by our side in the War on Terror from the beginning. And Mike Blaze has a wonderful guy in Ontario there, has founded this organization to advocate for veterans in the provincial legislatures and the national parliament, and this is, among other things, does a lot of great things. So check that out, too, CanadianVeteransAdvocacy.org. Okay, let's get back to the show here, and we're talking with Steve Fermani, the head of New England MUFON, Mutual UFO Network, and we're talking about the UFO conference, the first New England UFO conference in Leominster, Massachusetts on October 26th. Steve, how much do tickets cost?
Tickets are $25, single tickets, and for family packs, anywhere from 3 to 5 tickets to a family pack, you get a discount down to $20 each.
Okay, assuming that people don't win them on the show here when we do the raffle. So, okay,
correct.
So very good. So go ahead.
We had initially planned to have a festival along with the conference, but we're kind of due to it's our first year, and it's kind of difficult to put that all together right away. So we're doing more or less of a Halloween fair. Since it's just October 26th, just before Halloween, we'll have several ghost hunting groups from around New England will be there to talk to people. So we'll do something up for Halloween.
Well, it sounds like an all-round interesting time. Well, very good. Well, we'll be seeing you there. We'll be talking to you, and we'll be raffling off those tickets.
Okay, can I say one more thing?
By all means.
If people would like to order tickets and don't
yes.
want to do it online,
Mm-hmm.
they can order them by snail mail. Just to send it to NEUFOCon, New England UFO Conference, to my name, Steve Bermani, FIRMANI, and that's 39 Laurel Street, LAUREL, Leominster, Massachusetts, 01453. Tickets, you can go online. It's $2.37 handling charge per ticket. So add that onto the check, and you just have the check made out to New England UFO Conference Incorporated.
Oh, very good. And what is the website?
The website is www. Actually, the easiest way to do it is just Google NEUFOCon.
Okay, great. All right. Very good, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be talking to you again as the conference approaches. Thanks for the call.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. We got another one?
Indeed we do.
Breaking the records tonight.
Well, sort of.
All right. Well, hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, it's me again.
Oh, okay.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to the show.
When you were talking about MUFON, it made me think of it. I went to the site and made my report about what I saw.
Oh, yes. Okay, you had mentioned that.
Yeah, the flying saucer I saw there.
Did you want to tell us about that?
I have before. Well, it was right near my house. There's a playground, and I was down there in the parking lot watching fireworks on July 3rd, 2010.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yep.
And the sky was like a full moon, but I found out later it was a new moon that night. There was no moon. But the sky was very, very bright, and it was partly cloudy. And I was trying to take pictures of the fireworks, which didn't come out good. And then all of a sudden I look above my head, and there's a great big round gray saucer over my head, treetop level.
Really? Nothing to do with the fireworks?
No. And it was totally silent.
Uh-huh.
And it slowly went up and right into the cloud as I was looking at it. It happened within seconds, you know.
What? And this is, I'll tell you why I asked this question. What did you feel when you were looking at this? Was it fear? Was it excitement? Some people have felt that like they were being tested.
It wasn't fear, but I felt like it knew I was looking at it, so it went into the cloud. That's kind of what I felt.
That's very interesting, because on last night's show, Kathleen Martin was saying that there might be a biological component to these UFOs. They might be partially alive in some sense of the word. Did you get that feeling, or did it come to mind?
No, it was like as big as an automobile, maybe.
Okay.
Size.
Very interesting.
And then 10 minutes later, I saw it again briefly further away, and it was going into a cloud again.
Would you call it a ball of light?
No, it was definitely a saucer.
So definitely a saucer. Okay, very good.
It was like tree. I was standing next to some trees, and it was like treetop level. It was very close.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
okay.
And there may have been writing on one side. I wasn't sure.
Oh, that's interesting. And this is Franklin, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Very good.
Somebody in Woonsocket said they saw something odd that night too. Because I found out later.
Yeah.
I don't want to say who it is, but
okay. Did you didn't get a good look at the writing?
No, I wasn't even sure there was writing. But
okay.
I got an idea that there might be something written there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Quite interesting. Have you ever seen anything like that before or since?
No, I haven't. My sister saw some little tiny thing right across the street from us. Some little saucer hovering over the driveway, and it went straight up into the sky.
That seems to be a trend lately, or these balls of light are small saucers. Let me ask you this, Bill. Was anyone else around at the time when you had this sighting during or after the
one thing I thought might have got my attention. It knew I was there. But my flash went off on the camera.
Oh, that's interesting.
I wasn't sure how to shut the flash off, so when I took a picture, the flash kept going off.
Yeah, electrical phenomena. That's
So maybe the saucer saw my light.
That's interesting because people, I'm thinking particularly of the 1960s in the Ohio Valley when they had the Mothman things and all this. There were all sorts of UFO sightings, and people would flash lights at these things, and they would sometimes respond.
But this was when there were fireworks going off and everything else, and then this happens, and it's totally silent.
Very interesting. And
the other thing I want to talk to you about was deja vu. I've had a few deja vu things.
Yeah, that's an interesting phenomenon. Go ahead.
Like I'm going into my bedroom and all of a sudden it hits me. I've been here before. Everything in the room is where it's supposed to be, and I'm supposed to be walking in here at this moment.
Yeah, that happens to just about everybody.
And then it's gone.
Yeah. Oh no, it happens to me all the time, and I'm sure Ben too. It's
Joe Ferrier too.
It's Joe Ferrier. Yep, we used to talk to Joe about that. As a matter of fact, listen for the announcement about next week's show. It's going to be in tribute to Joe again, because we found some new information. But the deja vu.
Maybe you can use my clip I sent you of Joe's.
Yeah, or call in too, because we'd like to hear from you. Then we have some.
I sent you a little clip of his dream he had.
I remember that. Yeah, no, I have that. It's in the file. So in any case, the issue of the deja vu, in our opinion, as you might guess, we think these are just parallel life experiences, because if you walk into a place that you never have been before in this consciousness, and you feel like you have been there, and it was overwhelming, then you not only have been there, you are there. You know,
like I've been there, and everything it's supposed to be there. You know,
because you really have been there in that situation in a parallel life. Because it's all part of you. It's all part of your consciousness.
I've also had a dream that came true.
Okay, what was that? Something good, I hope.
A friend of mine passed away who lived up the street. It was a woman who took care of cats and stuff. And I used to help her a lot. And I had a dream where there were 3 galaxies in the sky, and I was coming home from that direction in the dream. And then I found out later when I'd go up to help the other woman with the cats, it was Jupiter, Mars, and Venus was in the sky, in the exact same place. It was like my dream, but my dream it was like 3 galaxies.
Interesting.
But that came true.
Yeah.
Before it happened.
Before that, there you go.
I dreamt that before it happened. Yeah.
Yep. Anything can and will happen if you just look for it, and you're aware of it. And, when you become what we call multiverse aware, these things are normal, Yeah. But everybody has the deja vu experience. Well, Bill, thank you for the call.
Okay.
And we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Ben, did you get some more information over the phone from someone else?
Some guy called in and he said he was, that he didn't want to go on the air with this, but he got pictures of a UFO sighting he had back in 2010 that were lights over Fairmount.
Really?
Yeah, he's going to be sending them to the studio via mail.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Interesting
the
stuff.
more I find out about where we have lived for the past 16 years on that hill, it is a weird place.
Oh, yeah, it's weird.
And appropriate locale for Paul and Benino, I guess.
Yeah.
We've talked about the folklore that's around there, the Devil's Hole and all this business, and
all that fun stuff.
A lot of good things happen there too, though. I think So in any case, let's do another email. This is a real short one. There's no name, no location, but there is a question.
Good old no name. Question is, how do I get ghost hunting stuff? I feel like this is a joke. I feel like it's like a joke.
I think
somebody's
probably
playing
not. Unfortunately. All right. Ghost hunting stuff. First of all, I detest the term ghost hunting. I think it's stupid.
And the word stuff.
And, stuff, I don't know. But in any case, we advise people not to go out looking for this stuff. If the paranormal comes to you, that's one thing. For example, if you're Bill there and you're seeing this thing in the sky, that's one thing. But that's UFOs. But often they're connected. Ghost phenomena, poltergeist phenomena, UFOs. We were talking to Kathy Martin about that last night. We'll talk about it again. The thing with, what people think of as ghosts is that they are, in my sincere belief, not what you think they are. Very often, of course, the spirits of somebody who's died, or there was a suicide, or some terrible thing happened, and everything else. And yes, that sends out echoes across the multiverse, and it can be picked up by brains like ours, almost like a radio, sure. But that's a real event going on. I think because people don't understand what this really is, and what it really is, it is nothing in the paranormal is what it appears to be. You could be dealing with something very dangerous, one of these parasites we're often talking about, and this can be a serious problem because things can come home with you. They are looking for something to eat. And, okay, we've got another caller.
Yeah, Mike from Woonsocket's on the line.
Mike from Woonsocket's on the line, and we'll have to leave our question here. So, Mike, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. The reason I'm calling is you kicked off some memories, in your discussions earlier. My father was stationed at Roswell Air Force Base from
really?
from 47 through 54, and I was actually born on Roswell in 1950. But the famous night of the UFO incident, what he would tell in later years, of course, is that they were all sworn to secrecy. There was definitely something up, and it wasn't a weather balloon. He said the only thing that he himself personally witnessed was with five other airmen. They were crossing a flight line, apparently going to a station, and they saw three, what he described, he called them craft, come directly over the field at a high rate of speed and then just stop dead. There were three of them, he said, in a line spaced about 100 feet apart. Each one looked like it was about twice the size, well, this is right after World War II. Mm-hmm. He called it twice the size of a fighter aircraft in terms of length. And he said they sort of looked like upside-down pie plates. Do you remember those old photographs?
Sure.
Except he said that while they were flat on the bottom, that it didn't appear bulky like a pie plate would, but streamlined. He said as if they were designed for speed. And he said in after years he thought maybe it was designed for moving in the atmosphere, because obviously you wouldn't need any sort of streamlining in a spacecraft. No wind or anything like that. And he said that they hovered there for about 2 minutes, and then the middle one accelerated at a high rate of speed and disappeared over the horizon, and the other two did the same thing. So he said he saw them do several physical impossible things to stop dead from a high rate of speed. Obviously anything living inside you'd think would be smashed flat by the G-force, and then take off at such a rapid rate of speed. And he said the weather balloon and stuff like that was what they put out later, but that something actually happened, and that was his experience.
This, of course, folks, is the famous Roswell UFO crash of 1947, probably the most famous case in history. That's an amazing connection, Mike. Have you yourself had any experiences, particularly in this area?
Well, not so much in the UFO line, but more on what you might call the spiritual, which I agree with you is not spiritual at all, but part of the parallel type universe. I once hit a loop very strongly in time, and I was with a friend. We were in San Francisco. We turned a corner on Market Street. A cabbie came sailing through the intersection, locked his brakes, almost hit a young girl who was walking across the street. She had the light. She flipped him off and kept walking. So we drove a little bit further. I went around the block, turned the corner, and a young girl was crossing the road. A cabbie comes flying across. She flips him off. The whole sequence repeated. And
really?
Both of us were just completely blown away.
So you both experienced the same time loop, as you call it?
Yeah, I call it a time loop because I can't think of what else to call it. No,
that's a perfectly good term, sure.
Yeah.
Very interesting. A lot of people... I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
No, that was a real strong experience because I remember, it was so clear cut, and obviously it repeated. Mm-hmm. And we were back on Market Street, turning the corner off of whatever street we were on. It was like all of a sudden we hit a loop, but there was a little blank spot. There was kind of like I was cognizant of the street, and then there was a little blank where I wasn't cognizant, and I'm turning the corner again.
I've had that same experience, and a lot of people say they have. It's almost like, remember the old slide projectors, that there'd be a black space for just a second, and then
just a second.
Yeah, and then the new slide, so to speak, would come on.
Would click in. Yeah, that's exactly what it was like somebody sliding a slide. You're exactly right. That's precisely what it was like.
That could very well be, going back to the first question we read tonight, I wonder if that couldn't go back to the experience of bodily death, just a slide dropping and another one coming up.
It might be very much that way, but you know what? We're all one mind.
Absolutely
really
right.
are.
That's what we found,
all one mind.
You can't get away from it.
The Buddhists were absolutely right about that.
That's right. Them and half
right.
the other people in the past were right about that. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we're so ferociously individualistic, we have trouble grasping
Well, there's a difference between individualism and narcissism.
Right. And personalism, too. Yeah.
I think the main problem for Westerners is our complete devotion to this idea of linear time.
Exactly.
It's like the concept, and Buddha says you need to get rid of your concepts if you're going to understand reality.
Exactly.
Well, let's suppose reality isn't linear, and you're trying to understand it in a linear fashion. You'll never succeed.
Mm-hmm. That's why they don't succeed
that way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we sort of blunder around confused because we just, you can't get the right answer if you ask the wrong question.
No, you can't.
That's it.
You have to, and that's what Buddha taught. I mean, that's what Buddha meant when he said you have to get rid of your concepts.
Mm-hmm.
The concepts you have about reality are what prevent you from perceiving it in actuality. Which makes sense, because people tend to see what they want to see or expect to see.
That's right.
That's a horrible tendency among humans. We expect to see what we expect to see.
Yeah, it's true. As a matter of fact, when I was in the military myself, they sort of told us, effectively, the secret of invisibility is just be where you're not expected to be seen.
Right.
And a lot of people won't see you.
Because they don't expect to see you.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Funny little things. Point. Yeah, exactly. So, well, Mike, a great call. Thank you very much. Talk to you again.
My pleasure. All right. I listen to your show all the time, and I'll start calling in more often.
Please do. Please do.
Thank you. You're always welcome.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you, guys.
Well, thank you, Mike.
Have a good one.
Okay.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Just to finish up, no name's question, we do not recommend going out looking for ghosts or entities of this kind. There are enough problems in life as it is. Take up soccer, take up model trains or whatever, but I just think it's not a healthy pursuit.
Yeah, play an instrument, make toothpick sculptures, whatever.
Exactly, but going out looking for these things is not a healthy pursuit. We don't actually go out looking. We help people who ask us if we can't, available. Of course, a lot of people are in Australia or somewhere that can't.
So it's not like we can really do much.
Right, but you can do a lot. We're learning to do things at long distance. We have time for one more question?
Yes, we do.
Okay, this is about Rendlesham Forest, and it's from Allison in Hampshire, UK. Hampshire, England.
So Allison writes to us, Dear Paul and Ben, I've become a regular listener to your show from here in the UK. I have a particular interest in the Rendlesham Forest incident. I have noticed that when listening to any related podcasts on your show, there is a strange clicking sound on many of the recordings, which make them nigh impossible to listen to. Is this due to a technical fault, or have other listeners reported this? This clicking is weird because it sounds like a conversation, but using clicks instead of words. I'd love to hear your views. Keep up your great show, guys. Thank you. Has anybody else reported this? Because I don't know.
Yeah, other people have.
I never.
So you and I see different emails.
Yeah, well, my email is still broken, so.
I thought it was fixed.
No.
Well,
no, it's far. I mean, I can receive stuff now. Some things.
Dan at Behind the Paranormal.
I can receive some things, but I can't send any emails. Like, for example, the station manager here sent me an email, ended up in spam, wrote an email back, it wouldn't send. So I did get it though, which is good.
Well, that's good. But we do seem to be prone, Allison, to things like this. That whole Rendlesham... First of all, the Rendlesham Forest case next to Roswell is probably one of the world's most interesting. We were in England last September and visited Rendlesham Forest with a number of listeners over there, and one of the witnesses to the December 1980 case, who was in the U.S. Air Force at the time, at 2 air bases straddling this lovely wilderness area, but weird wilderness area. And there were landings, possible close encounters, high-ranking officers were involved, and you name it. It's all in our 16-hour series. We started it on CBS, and the engineers couldn't figure out what was wrong. There were bizarre sounds like the clicking.
But we had it on, what was the other station?
We had to move it to an all-internet station, but the podcasts are all on the site now under special shows. So we did 2 shows on CBS, and we had to get it off the air and put it on the internet because we didn't have much trouble.
We didn't really have any. I mean, we lost a few guests, but that was because we had like panels of 6 or 7 people.
It was difficult to control, but they were 2 and 3 hour shows.
Yeah, but then calls would drop because internet connections were bad. There was one time, I think we did one during a storm, so we were having a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah, but generally, once we got off the over-the-air broadcast, we had less trouble. I don't know why. But to this day, our producer at CBS says that people wonder what that was all about. A brand new studio, new equipment, and all this. So in any case, it was we just seem to be prone to that, and we've often talked about it among the 2 of us, and it seems like it's almost too obvious. It's like someone's trying to draw attention to these things, which means maybe we got it wrong. I don't know. So all we know is we soldier on, and we try to get through all these technical difficulties. We do what we can.
The show must go on, as the cliche goes. Go on, and
all else fails, listen live. So there you go. But anyway, all right. Okay, that's. Let me just. I guess there's probably no more.
No.
All right. Okay. So anyway, we will just remind you again. We will be raffling off 2 4-pack family tickets to the first New England UFO Conference in Leominster, Massachusetts on Saturday, October 26th. You heard the details from Steve Fermani, our good friend. And we ourselves will be there.
We're having him on again, yes, in a few weeks?
Oh, yeah.
23rd.
Yeah. And we ourselves will be there. You can meet us if that excites you in any way. You also will be...
We can give you autographs.
Certainly the speakers... Well, we'll be selling my books. And the speakers will be there as well, who will be very famous people you've heard on this show. And there will be UFO movies shown throughout the day, and it's that venue between the movies that will be doing the interviews of the guests between the live
What kind of movies? Like documentaries or...
No, I don't know. This Island Earth or...
things like that.
MST 3000.
Yeah. Fun things like that.
Yeah, classic UFO movies, I would think. Maybe some documents. I don't know. I haven't been privy to that information. So in any case, check that out and send either an email, paul@behindtheparanormal.com, or I wouldn't try Ben. It's broken.
Yeah, it's not. It's under out of order. There we go.
Or again here at the studio, WOON 1240 AM, Behind the Paranormal, WOON 1240 AM, 985 Park Avenue, Woonsocket, Rhode Island, 02895. And again, whether emailing or snail mailing, give us your information, your name, your address, and your phone number, and you will be in the drawing that we will have on October 7th on the air on this show for those free tickets. So you don't want to miss that. That's going to be a great day. And you might even get there for nothing. So...
People do like free things. I like free things.
Yes, indeed. And a lot of giveaways at this stage.
Indeed.
So, many thanks to our producer, Ben himself. And next week, August 19th, we will have a special open line show that our local listeners should really appreciate. And the people who called in tonight are really going to love this. It was a little over a year ago that our good friend Joe Ferrier passed, or translated, as we say, a 50-year talk show host on this station, and a pioneering UFO expert of the 1950s and 60s, and the taker of many very interesting photographs. We have uncovered some new material here in Woonsocket that has to do with Joe and his UFO work, and we plan to have expert, maybe, if she can make it, Kathleen Martin back with us to co-host next week to talk about that material. Kathy's an expert in her own right, and the niece of the famous Betty and Barney Hill, who in 1961 were involved in the first widely publicized UFO abduction case. Old-timers like me remember that. Anyway, that'll be next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific here on ON 1240 AM. Don't miss it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a fun show, especially with all the new material that we received.
Yeah.
So on our CBS edition of the radio show on Sunday, August 18th in Boston, Pittsburgh, Detroit /Windsor, and Seattle /Vancouver on radio.com, we will host an ordinary open line show to answer some of the very extraordinary emails.
And we have a lot that we didn't get to tonight, so we'll be...
we only got a few in, but we had a lot of callers, so that's okay.
We did. That's right. And it's too late to give the number, but we didn't even give the number, and we were able to do that. Ben,
no, we did. We gave it once.
We did.
At the beginning.
All right. So, Ben, before we leave, what's your advice to Mr. Ghost Hunter, Mr. No Name, who wants to be a ghost hunter there?
Easy. Don't. Just don't do it.
That's it.
It's so simple. A little too simple, if you will, because people like to read into things. But,
Well, just a final comment, too, on that. The stuff that he's talking about probably means electromagnetic field meters and all these gadgets you see people running around with on TV.
I mean, most of those are like tools for
engineers. They really don't mean much.
No.
I was kind of surprised there was a certain UFO expert we were talking about who realize this now, and many of them are realizing that the paranormal is all connected, that very often ghost cases can turn into UFO things. We've seen that because we investigate cases for years, and they transmogrify. But in any case, I would not suggest doing it. Don't buy any stuff because you don't need it. All right, so in any case, we leave you this evening with a thought from the French journalist and philosopher Albert Camus. Do not wait for the Last Judgment. It comes every day. I'm Paul Eno.
I'm Ben Eno. Thanks for joining us on our great cosmic journey, and we shall see you next time.
Return to this radio frequency 167 hours from now for another edition of Behind the Paranormal with Paul and Ben Eno.